The objective of this video is to explain the difference between absorption costing and variable costing. So to start, let's have a refresher of the components or the elements of the production cost. There are three basic elements ng ating production cost. We have, of course, our direct materials. We have our direct labor. And our factory overhead. We also know that these elements of manufacturing can be classified as either variable or fixed, particularly our factory overhead. We have variable factory overhead and we have fixed factory overhead, because direct materials and direct labor are generally classified as variable cost. Now, this cost of production, when combined, became the product cost under what is called full accounting or absorption costing. And this method or this method of costing is the one acceptable under GAAP, and these are being used for external reporting. Meaning, our financial statements are being prepared, the inventory in the financial statements are being computed considering all cost of production, whether it's variable or fixed. However, there is an alternative approach in the computation or in the costing of products. Under this alternative approach, which is known as the variable costing, the components that will be part of the cost of the product are our direct materials, our direct labor, and the variable component of our factory overhead. And so, having said that, the fixed factory overhead is not included. In addition to that, in absorption costing and in variable costing, sa parehas na method, the selling as well as the administrative expenses are classified as period cost. So, whether it's variable or fixed, for as long as it is part of non-manufacturing cost, as in the case of selling and administrative expenses, they are classified as period cost, meaning they should be expensed at the period they are incurred. So for us to understand the concept of absorption costing and variable costing, let us assume the following illustration. Let us say a corporation manufactures a product called Fix-It for car windshields. The following are the data that are relevant in the January 2021, which is the first month of production. selling price of the product is 20 pesos per unit. In terms of units, 30,000 are produced. 20,000 of it are sold. With respect to beginning inventory, coming from the ending inventory of the prior period, the value is 0. In terms of variable unit costs, a manufacturing cost of 9 pesos, 5 pesos of which is direct materials, 3 pesos is the direct labor, and 1 peso is factory overhead. For selling and administrative, the variable unit cost is 2 pesos. With respect to fixed costs, manufacturing overhead is 120,000, and the selling and administrative expenses is 15,000. So considering the information here and the concept of variable costing and absorption costing, let us now try to compute for the manufacturing cost per unit under two methods. So first here, the type of cost. It's our first column. The second column is under the absorption costing, and the third column is under the variable costing. So first, let's talk about the first component, of course, which is the direct materials. Direct materials is 5 pesos. So since these materials or direct materials are considered to be variable cost, it will be included in both methods. Okay, let me just fix that. So this is 5 pesos. For direct labor, which is the same as that of direct materials, considered to be variable, it will be part of both absorption costing and variable costing. In terms of variable overhead, as in the problem states, the variable overhead is 1 peso. So the 1 peso will be part of both method also. The main difference, which is the fixed overhead, it will be part of the absorption costing, but under the variable costing, it is not included as part of the product cost. Therefore, the fixed overhead under the variable costing is 0. I'll be changing the color para mas ma-highlight natin. So 0 dito. But in absorption costing, there must be value. Okay? So magkano yung value natin? The manufacturing overhead fixed cost is 120,000. We will be dividing it by the number of units produced, which is 30,000 units. Okay? So therefore, doing our math, it will give us 4 pesos. So therefore, the manufacturing cost per unit under the absorption costing is 5 pesos plus 3 plus 1 plus 4, a total of 13 pesos. And variable costing, a total of 9 pesos. The difference of 4 pesos is because, again, the difference between variable costing and absorption costing is that under the absorption costing, fixed manufacturing overhead is classified and is included in the computation of product cost. Unlike variable costing, hindi natin isinasama ang fixed manufacturing overhead.